Hello. Look at all you early birds. Are you guys always here and I just don't see it because my chat's been broken? I love that. Welcome. You guys look ready. Yeah, I saw that, Megan. Understandable. You know, things happen. Fabric prices went up so many times when I was manufacturing, and I waited years to do an increase. It was tough. Like, they went up a lot. So I'm sure between the tariffs and shipping, yeah, $5 isn't much. That's like what, 5%? Yeah, it's crazy, Megan. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how she gets it all into the box. That's crazy. Well, welcome. I'm Sarah. This is So Live. And we are drafting our own bodice block. And yesterday we took some measurements. So if you missed that stream, let me see. I'll pull up my website again and put in the link to getting the... Oh, I just went to my YouTube page. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I know what my website looks like. Looks a lot like my YouTube page at first. Let's see. Here we go. It's in the videos and garments. Go to the how-to section or pattern drafting. Either one, it'll be there. And then it's how to draft your sloper and block. So if you want to follow along, here is a link to the page, and in the description there is a document called My Measurements, and you need that. Hi, Christine. Oh my gosh, Megan, really? Yeah. That's crazy. So Louise is here, Malin's here, Megan's here. Nice to see you guys. So, so these are the measurements we filled out yesterday for our front bodice. And we are going to be using the steps that I have here. And if you don't have this document, this was available to Patreon patrons. So you can sign up and get it. And I know you might not want to continue. That's totally cool. But I've putting a little effort into this. So I did decide to make it at least the text version so you can follow along, available to patrons. Hi, Jan. Nice to see you. And that should be linked in the description of the video, the Patreon site. So I'm going to be going over it here pretty well. It is a lot of steps, but it kind of goes pretty quickly if you just kind of keep your head straight and follow your measurements. Now, the first thing I want to say is you want these measurements that you took handy. And these measurements aren't like classic measurements of measuring yourself. They're pretty specific. You're going to have to wear tight clothing and mark some guidelines that you can always refer back to, because sometimes you go back to the same point and measure to a different spot. Hi, PJ. How's it going? From Wichita. I'm in California. Hello. So for those of you who did download this from the Patreon site, thanks, first of all, for support. I saw Malin, you became a subscriber, and someone else did too. So thanks, guys. I wanted to say a really helpful note if you're going to use this is go through and highlight all the places where I say, use measurement 1. And also write your measurement for that next to it. This is going to make it a lot easier, because then you can just put the other page aside and just focus on this page, because this is a pretty concise instruction list, and it's not like first do this and blah blah. It's not very flowery. It's very direct, and so it can be kind of concise. And I think if you have all your information right there, it'll be a lot easier to follow. The other thing I did personally was I highlighted all the spots where I actually have to do something after marking on my paper and putting a point down, like squaring over somewhere or squaring down from somewhere. Lastly, there's one, it's not an error per se, but if you have the measurement chart, for number 2, it's the across shoulder measurement. You can put in down the full amount, which for this one I did was 14 inches, but you only need half to draft your block. So just remember that you need half that. And I'm going to probably make this a little prettier for all you Patreon folks now that I kind of ran through it a little bit. So you guys ready? So for anyone new here, I have never taught how to draft a basic bodice, but I have a really long background in the garment industry. I've worked doing this for 30 years. Never in the home sewing side. This is actually new to me, but I've home sewed for myself for forever, since, I was like 15 years old. And it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I used to have my own little factory manufacturing my own line of accessories, which was really great. I had to close my business kind of prematurely due to lots of weird reasons. Not weird, but just like unique reasons between like losing my production facility and there being a just disaster fire here in my area that took out my other options, and also I just needed to focus on helping my family rebuild. So I decided to just kind of simplify and spend more time on that. I will say that I have drafted my fair few basic bodice slopers and things like that. But it doesn't happen as often as you think in your career, because most people, like when you go to work for a company, they already have a library of patterns. And so you draw from those patterns to draft other things, because they'll say, let's take the Daphne top and let's just change this, this, and this about it, and it'll become the Rex blouse, and that's kind of how they end up morphing from their block to using existing styles. But then when they want to draft something kind of unique or something different, they start with their block again. Hopefully they have a set of blocks. I've worked for a lot of companies, especially startup companies, who had no blocks and they didn't want to pay for them. Thanks, Malin, I will. So a basic block is basically making a dress form of you. It's the best and most concise way I can describe it. You're not making a top that is going to be something you'd sew up and wear out, because it's going to be you. It's a replica of you, and it's also not. There's no style line, so it ends right here at the waist, and it goes right up against your armhole. There's a tiny bit of ease built in, but not much. But from that, it's like the template to build anything that you want. So you can have a lot of fun with them. So when I usually make my basic block, I usually kind of put a few things in place that I know I'm going to want on everything I do. So, and then once you kind of get the hang of it, you can do that too. But that might be like ways down the road. So no pressure. You are not going to draft something that fits you perfectly the first time. I can almost guarantee it. Because we are doing this flat pattern style, it is very different than draping it on you or draping it on a dress form, which is far more accurate and fast. That's just how it is. But you can't drape on yourself, right? So we're going to do this by basically using geometry without knowing it. So don't get scared, okay? It's going to be fine. All right, so I have my camera pretty zoomed in. My whole bodice is going to fit in here, and the bodice I'm doing is for a like teenager size. So just remember that, like she's going to be probably not shaped like any of us. I can just pretty much guess because I know my audience here. She is, honestly, she is not the customer who needs a custom block. She can probably wear things right off the rack. And so she's a size 5 by 1978 standards. So she's pretty small. All right, so like I said, the first thing you want to do is highlight, if you've got this little form that, because you're a Patreon subscriber, it's four pages. Doesn't take long, I promise. Highlight all the spots that say use measurement 1 to whatever, right, until you find all 12. And then write the measurement down next to it. And then on measurement 2, you only need half, okay? So that'll be fine. And so for those of you who don't have this, you're going to be using your measurements. It's the same like plug in. It's just you're gonna have to kind of keep up because you won't have that little text thing to go back to. So, you guys ready? You guys are awful quiet. I can tell you got your thinking caps on, which I love. But then you make me feel a little lonely. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is let's just draw a nice straight line. And so the bodice right now, it's gonna sit like this. Okay, so this is the center front of the bodice. This is gonna be the center front. The neck's gonna go here, the shoulder, the armhole, the side seam, the waist, the bust. Okay, so this is the very common way to draft patterns. So, hi Rachel, how's it going? All right, so your first measurement is from measurement 1, and that was the high point at shoulder. And you're going to put that measurement right on this line. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how to square things and measure them, because there are some little tricks I've learned with using my ruler. You're going to measure the top of your line as A, the bottom as B. I'm going to try it. Can you see that pretty good? I did a little trial so I could see what you guys could see easily enough. All right, so that is number 1, and I'm going to check mine off because I'm trying to do this, talk to you, read the chat, and read the instructions and do this accurately. So I'm going to check mine off, and I actually think that that's kind of helpful for you as well, so that you're not like, oh, all these steps look the same, you know, because I don't want you to get lost in all of the center fronts, A to D, high pointed shoulder, all that crap, right? Okay. All right, so now your next one is you're going to need your measurement number 2, which is the across shoulder measurement. And you don't need it all the way. You just need half that, right? You're so tired this evening using the letterless system to draft a few patterns, trying to design a new question pattern. So you're like done with math today, right, Rachel? All right, so I use a see-through ruler, and so it has like the 1/8 inch marks. It's 2 inches by 18 inches. I love these rulers. Now, I'm going to use it to draw squared lines, and by square I mean 90 degrees, and those kinds of things are kind of important in pattern drafting. I mean, basically you're just doing an engineering version of clothing making, and it's definitely a underrated profession. You know, like when you think about what pattern drafters are doing, they're doing a lot of math and geometry. So when you're trying to get your square lines, like this first one, since it's the first one we're doing, we're just going to try and do our very, very best to get it square. So I'm lining it up along the line, and I'm going to draw a line out, mark that point as C. So that was your, sorry, you can barely see it, but that's C right there. And that was number 2, and that was your across shoulder measurement, which is also measurement number 2. Now from that point, you're going to square down 10 inches. Now this is one spot where you can kind of check your square. So I'm going to draw a line kind of down here a little bit, and then I'm going to go across here 7 inches to make sure I'm on that spot. You know what I mean? So, let's see, 10 inches down. I'm just trying to make sure it's getting as square as possible. And I can do that by checking my amount here. So this is my 7 inches, and this is my 10 inches. I don't generally draft in Sharpie. Why does this not seem square? I'm going to double check this one right here. Your Sharpie is not necessarily going to give you a straight line because the ink gets fat and thin. Yep, half the cross shoulder, Malin. Because it's only from your center line to your shoulder tip. I'm just double checking my square here, which looks pretty square. And so this right here is going to be 7 inches. So I need my 10 inches to fall on that line right there. But it's not, yeah, it just doesn't look very square to me. All right, so that's just a 10-inch line straight down from C, okay? Why doesn't it look square? You know? I don't usually have problems with squares. See, that's 7 inches across. That's 7 inches across. And I guess that could be a little less, maybe right here. All right. These little 16ths and 8ths can really add up. I'm going to tell myself it's this one right here, you numbskull. That's why I put that little red arrow there. All right, so this is just your 10-inch line. You're going to use it as a guideline throughout the process, okay? All right, so that is number 2. Number 3, center front length minus your 3/8 inch. Now, the center front length was your measurement number 3, and you're going to measure up from B that amount. And let's see, yep, minus 3/8 of an inch. So mine was 13 5/8 inches. Minus 3/8 would be 13 1/4. I don't, Jan. I've had so much bad luck with those rulers. They're never square. I've bought good ones and I've bought bad ones and I've bought them. I stopped buying them, Jan. I just use geometry to figure it out now. Because like they'll be square for like the first like 8 inches of it. Because the thing is, the bigger a square is, the more accurate it can be. But they were never, like if you kept going, they weren't square. Even the one my college issued me. Yeah. I'm sure if I went to like an architect's shop, you know, or an engineering place. But honestly, you can figure it out, you know, like by doing that, measuring it, making a parallel line, you know. All right, so this mark right here is D. This is your center front neck right here. This is your shoulder line. Your shoulder point's gonna go on that spot in just a second, okay? So from this point here, you can square out about 4 inches. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna kind of check my thing here. I'm gonna measure from A to D, which is like 2 7/8. And I know that's here. So right about there. Now this is also just a guideline. You don't need to mark a point there. You just need it, okay? Just 4 inches out from D. This is going to shape our neck, okay? And then we are now on to part 2. So you just used measurement 3, your center front length from waist to your neck right here, okay? So next is figuring out our shoulder slope. So this is why I say like draping things on the form is so much faster and easier, because you can kind of cut into the fabric and release it and kind of get these little subtle curves and slopes, because you have a lot going on right here, you know, on your body, right? This is like, this area of your body is the equivalent to the pants fitting area of your lower torso. You know, like if you don't have a good fitting armhole and sleeve, that's kind of what makes us not like our shirts usually. That and all the ice cream I eat, probably, you know, there's that. Okay, shoulder slope. Okay, so you need measurement number 4, and you're going to be measuring out from here onto this line somewhere. All right, so my measurement 4, do you not want me to say the measurements out loud? Because I don't want to confuse you guys. So I'm going to take my measurement, and what I like to do is I use the middle of my ruler, like right here. I find my measurement along the length right here. And then I put this center line kind of on there, put it on that point. And then I know the center line, when it hits this line here, that's my spot. That's my outer shoulder point. And then you can draw a line. I do that because when you do this, when you measure like this, you have to kind of put the point of your ruler there, right? And it can shift. It can push that way or push this way, and as you're rotating it. It's not to say that you can't do it. It's just sometimes a little less accurate. All right, and then you're going to label this point right here E. Okay. So again, this measurement right here is your number 4. So it was this measurement from your high pointed shoulder to your center front waist, right? Now, let me check that off for me so I know. All right, your shoulder length from E to F. So F is going to fall on this line right here, and so you're going to need your measurement number 5, which was the length of your shoulder right here. And same thing, like mine, let's see, okay, I see what mine is. Whew, that scared me. Thanks for following. What is that, lady? Oh, why can't I see it? Sorry, I have everything so small on my screen right now so I can see the chat. Thanks for following. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I like finding the measurement around here. Now, if you're using these see-through rulers and you haven't used them before, just note there are numbers here. Just ignore those. Use your outer numbers. All right. All right, so I'm going to find my measurement, which is this line here, and where it hits on this A to C line, that's my spot. That's my juncture right there, and I think this is F. You can see that, right? And then you're gonna draw a line. This is your shoulder. Now this shoulder goes right up to your neck. You most likely aren't going to wear shirts that are right there, but it's not as crucial as it is here. We're gonna back it off a little bit right here. That's why we took off the 3/8 of an inch right here. We already backed it away from the neck a little bit. So just so you know that that's built in there. All right, now this little spot, it might work for you. It never works for me. I don't know why, but I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. And I drew heavily upon one of my books from college because this was the most straightforward way to draft a sloper using flat pattern drafting techniques and not draping. And, you know, it's not going to be perfect when we're done. We're going to have to fit it, and we're going to have to fix a few things, you know, maybe a lot of things. But it's going to get us really close as long as we were good at our measurements. So we'll see, right? If I have time, I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to put it on the dress form, and we're going to see how I did. All right? A little nervous. Okay, so from that F dot that we just made, we're going to square down to D. We're just going to square down there. So the easiest way to do this is find what A to F is right here, which for me is like a little over 2.5. And there it is on the D line. And now we just square down from F. And this is right here, G. All right, so this is the spot that I never seem to get. I just don't feel like it's quite right. And so traditionally what you're going to do is you're going to make a 1/2 inch point right here from G, and you're just going to kind of split the difference of the angle, right? So just kind of center this point about 1/2 inch, but I'll show you what's going to happen. I'm going to use a pencil. It's like right there, right? This is not a natural neckline. That's really not going to work. And what I find that works a little better is about 1 inch, like that. And then that would be your H. H? Yeah. Honestly, what I think you can do pretty successfully is draw in a little neckline right here. Sketch it in. Or use your French curve and draw it in. We have plenty of time to true this up and get it correct, all right? So again, really you are just trying to get a nice neckline curve from here. And when you put the point at 1/2 inch, it makes the neckline go straight down and kind of straight over, more like a squared boat. And I just don't feel like that's very accurate. thing is, on some folks, that measurement might be perfect because maybe their shoulder measurement, like their neck is a little wider and it puts the shoulder juncture at the neck right here further apart. Even a 1/2 inch difference is going to make a big difference in these small spots right here. So it's not necessarily that it's wrong, but I feel like sometimes going by your eye is a little better. Now right now it probably looks really weird because this line right here is going to distort how we look at the bodice right here. And see, even this, like I feel like this is too pointy. I feel like it could go like this. That's just my experience. I've seen a lot of like this area right here. So, and honestly, like if I were drafting this, I would make this a right angle right here too. I would do that. So there's a lot of personal preference here. Hi, Terry. Awesome. Welcome. So don't despair right here. Don't worry about it. You can even just like put whatever you want there because this is going to be a really easy place to fit. The neckline's not hard. You know, you're going to put this on here. You're going to draw it right on there. You're good to go. It's not like the armhole. The armhole is a little trickier unless you have some help. So, all right. So you got your neckline in here. We're starting to get a bodice. And that, if you have the, this follow along sheet was number 3. Now we're on number 4 and you're going to need your measurement number 6, which was called armhole depth. And this measurement here is going to fall on this line we drew straight down from C. So take your measurement number 6, making sure I'm telling you the right one, and draw down from the top of 6 down to there and label it as I. Okay. And I'm checking mine off. I'm just gonna keep my cap off, take my chances and live on the edge. All right, okay, so I'm sorry, that was number 4. Now we're number 5. So you're gonna make another mark past I about 2 inches down, and you're gonna call this J. This is 2 inches. I don't wanna draw a lot of these little notations all over this because this looks a little messy. And if you're one of the folks using the follow along thing, you know what I mean. Because you can see, you're seeing the future of what we're about to do, and it can look a little bit like, yikes, you know, but you got this. We're getting there, all right? I think this is our biggest set of things right here. All right, so we've got our I, we got our J, and then you're gonna do 2 guidelines straight out about 5 inches. When I did this for this little girl, 5 inches was quite a lot. Hi, Chelsea. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. How's your Audrey coming? All right, so you're gonna square out about 5 inches. And I think if I was drafting this for me, 5 inches would be more appropriate, but this gal's pretty petite. So we're gonna square out 5 inches. Try and get your straightest line. This isn't a point, so you know you can just draw a line straight out. And you did this one 2 inches away. Now you know, just because my ruler is 2 inches wide, I don't just draw another line below it. I'm going to shift the ruler so that it covers up the line that I just drew. And that's because you have to accommodate what I call the kerf. If you're a woodworker, you know what I mean. And it's like the thickness of my marking pen. So if I were to just draw a line on either side of my 2 inch ruler, it would be kind of like the distance in between would be 2 inches, but the center from the line and the center to the other line would be more than 2 inches. So I know that sounds really specific, but makes a difference. Because just remember, you guys. Oh, I'm so glad, Chelsea, doing the flat felled seams. What a beast. Love it. That'll be a great make. Yeah, because remember, like when you are 1/8 of an inch off in circumference on one bodice, and then you add it to in that bodice is 1/8 of an inch off, now you're 1/4 of an inch off on half, and in total circumference you're off a 1/2 inch. So you can see where these little bits, they add up really quickly, and it's kind of one of the biggest issues with when you're first sewing and you maybe aren't very accurate with your seam allowance because it's freaking 5/8 of an inch, which is really wide. And then you take a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Well, you just added an 1/8 and an 1/8. You just added a 1/4 of an inch to one seam. Just one seam. So if you did that all throughout your whole garment, your garment's going to be too big. I thought someone just opened my door. That always spooks me now. Okay, let's move on. All right, so we have our little 5-inch-ish guidelines straight out from I and J. All right, and now we're on number 6. If you have the print version of this, and you are going to find the middle point between E and I. Right, so you're going to measure E to I. It's starting to sound like the farmer in the dell. All right, so mine is like right E to I. Yep. Mine's a little over 1.5. And you're gonna, no. Oh yeah, here we go. There's my 1.5. You're gonna mark this K. All right, middle between E and I, you have your K. All right. And you're gonna square a line to your center front from K to your center front. Now the easiest way to do this is measure from C to K. And put that same measurement here, and then draw a straight line from K to this point that is now L. We're gonna get through the whole alphabet. We're almost gonna get through the whole alphabet. We're gonna get up to X. Wait, yep, X. Oh, we get up to Y. We don't get to Z. All right, so so you have this is your little midpoint right here, okay? All right, so I am going to mark that off. All right, from K on the K to L line, you're gonna mark a 1/2 inch in. I should have drawn my K right here because this is gonna be a little messy right here. So I'll use a red pen right here. Will you be able to see red very well? Let's see. Okay, so this juncture here is M. Oh man, I ruined my Sharpie. Anytime you draw on your Sharpie with another color and you get black on it, it's gone. It's toast. All right, so this point right here is M. Right here, 1/2 inch away from K. Okay. Your bust depth. Now you need your measurement number 7. And you're going to measure on this line here, E to B. Okay. From E toward B, write in or measure down a point that is your measurement number 7. Okay. And you're going to label this. Let me make sure I got this. Yep, N as in Nancy. All right. Let's see, where do I want to put this? I think I'm going to put it right here. So this is supposedly your apex. I'm pretty sure. Right? Bust up. So this is your apex. This is not where your dart's going to finish, so don't think that's where it's going to finish, all right? It will at first. It'll look like it. Just trust. I told you guys yesterday, you got to trust in this process, all right? Because this is your body. It's not where your garments are going to end up. It's just where your body is, and then you know where your garment goes and where it doesn't go. Because sometimes knowing where it doesn't go is just as important as knowing where it goes, okay? All right, so that was number 8. Last step on part 2 is you need the measurement number 8. You're going to draw a line straight through N from center front. So I'm actually going to measure down from my C to A line where N is. And draw my line here. This is the easiest way to get a square. And then you can just draw a straight line if you like. Now you're going to put your bust span. Hi, Lynn. How's it going? On this line here. Remember, your bust span was apex to apex, but you only wrote down half that measurement. And it was measurement number 8. So mine's 3.5. Mine goes just past N. I'm pretty sure yours will too. It might not. Don't fret. Okay? Don't fret. It's okay. Remember, this is not us. All right, so let's see. Let me make sure Got everything here. All right, this point right here is O. You need to know that. That new point we just made, your bust span from O past N is P. Okay. All right. That includes part 2 for those of you who have this printout. All right. So now we're going to do our bust arc, and we're gonna use this line here. Ooh, I'm getting kind of dirty from all the ink. So that's why I use this ruler that's kind of like all messed up, because like with ink. I try and keep one nice clean ruler. I mean, look at this. It's so tempting. Look at this nice clean ruler. No, but I'm using this one because I'm rubbing my Sharpie right up against it. All right, so you're gonna need your measurement number 9 for your bust arc. And the bust arc is basically your full bust circumference, but it's only the front, and it's only from center front to where we established your side seam is yesterday, okay? So you just need that quarter measurement, but you can't take a full bust circumference measurement and divide it in quarters to get an accurate thing. So you need to do it the kind of what we did yesterday. That's why you take your measurements in quarters. So, okay, so for me, that was 9 inches. And so the way you're gonna do this is you're gonna go from O to P, and then the remainder of what you haven't used up is gonna land on this line here. And then you're going to label that as Q. All right, so mine is 9 inches, and so I'm gonna put my 9 inches right there on that O, and I'm gonna put my finger here. Wait, is it 9? Yeah. wait. I think I'm missing something. With Q touching on the J guideline. Oh, did we forget? We forgot a guideline. Wait a minute. I forgot a guideline. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. 5 to J. 3.5. Wait, let me backtrack. Gotta backtrack here just to make sure I got this. I got my 5 inch from, so yeah. So it doesn't look like that. I ran through this whole thing. Oh, is that what I'm doing like that? I ran through this whole thing this morning to make sure. Something's wrong. 5 1/4, C to I, right? E to I. Oh, I know what's wrong. Okay, you guys. Yeah. These are, I measured accidentally. Yours might be correct, you guys. I measured mine incorrectly. So for this I and this J here, these 3 right here, you might have it correct. So just make sure that your E to your J is, because I think I accidentally measured from my C. Yeah, so if you have these printouts, it's number 4. Your E to I is your measurement 6. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Oh, E to I, yeah, okay, so this is wrong, all right. So, I'm gonna use blue. So this is my I right here, just coincidentally, on that J line. And then we're gonna get rid of this right here. And I think I'm gonna get rid of these two, okay? So you guys might be okay. Just make sure your E to your I is your measurement 6. And from your I to J, you have your 2-inch line. This is the problem right here. Sorry about that, you guys. I think I told you correctly, but I didn't do it that way. I'm gonna make mine very obvious to me that I don't follow it, all right? And then you need to make sure that your midpoint between your E and your I is in the middle. And that will be your K. So I can get rid of all this right here. I thought that looked really high, but I was like, just trust in the process, Jeremy. So your E to I, yeah, 2.5, 2 5/8, about right here. This is my K. And then my 1/2 inch is my M. All right. And then I'm gonna square a line. Cross. For L. All right. So just make sure that that is actually what you have there. And now I'm okay. So now I have my measurement from center front to the side seam, which was the measurement number 9. Mine just happens to be 9 inches, so I keep referring to it because I don't trust it. And so when you get to, I'm putting this full 9 inches right here on the O. And then when I get to the P, I pivot my ruler so that the end of it fits or touches this J line right here, okay? So this isn't a straight line. It's kind of a broken line. It goes from 0 or O to P and then P to J, okay? Sorry if that confused you guys, but I think you guys are in better shape than I was. All right, so then you have your point here. We're gonna call that Q. Does that look like a Q? Yeah. And let me mark that off. I even say this in the instructions. When something looks off, do it. Great, Beverly. Thank you. When something looks off, deal with it right away, you guys. Don't think it's going to get worked out later on. Double check your work. I mean, like, I feel like this is a classic opportunity to be like, I don't want to know if I made a mistake. So I'm just going to hope for the best, right? I used to fall in that camp so often. And now I'm kind of like extremely the opposite. I'm like, I made a mistake? Let me see. You know, I'm kind of like, bring it on. You know, like I want to know because I want to feel good about it all the way through. So go back and just take a deep breath and figure it out right then because you don't want to start over from scratch, right? That's the alternative. So, okay. So we're on number 2, part 3, number 2, if you have the printout. And this, let's see, this is, you don't need any of your measurements, but you do need to measure from P to Q plus 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, okay, so if you're in the smaller cup sizes, like the A range, you're going to take your measurement from P to Q and add 3/8 of an inch. If you're a C cup or more, you're going to add 3/16 of an inch. I was just making sure I read that. I read that correctly. All right, so my P to Q measurement here is 5.5. I'm going to add 3/8 because she's definitely an A. And I'm going to put, I'm going to pivot. Let me see if I want to make sure I can draw this, explain this correctly. We're going to go on, draw our next point on this I guideline right here, okay? So you're going to take this measurement from P to Q plus 3/8 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch if you are like a cup size C or larger. And you're going to put that point, make sure I got this accurate here, right here on the I guideline. This is the I guideline, right? So you're just pivoting to there. And you're going to call this R. All right. Okay. Now, dotted line from P to intersect with the eye line, this point is R. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line from P to R, but I'm just going to do kind of a dashed line because it is not a line we're going to need permanently. We're just going to do that, okay? And then we're going to draw, yeah, it is getting a little dried out. You're going to need your measurement number 10, which is your side seam. And you're going to draw a line from R down. You're going to go through Q. So use the Q to kind of make your line straight. And use your measurement number 10. So if you want, just draw your line first, like this. And then find your point on there. And you're going to label it S. Oh, that wasn't long enough for me. All right, so this is your measurement 10 from R down S. You're confused. Where are you confused, Malin? This part right here, P to R. There's a delay, so I'm just going to wait for you to reply. Because we're almost done. I don't want you to get confused right now. P to Q, etc. All right, so you're going to measure. So this on your printout is this measurement. So measure from P to Q, all right? Find that measurement. And if you're a smaller cup size, add 3/8 of an inch. If you're a larger cup size, add less. Like a fat 1/8 of an inch. You know, and I know you're millimeters, so I'm not going to try and do the conversions right now because I might confuse you if I do it wrong. All right, and so find that measurement. So you measured from P to Q. You're just going to add a little bit for your cup size, and you're going to take that measurement, measure from P, and wherever that measurement length lands on the I guideline ends up being your R, right? So say your P to Q measurement is 5.5 plus the little bit I need, 5 3/8. Mine's 5 7/8, right? So now I take that 5 7/8 length and find the point where it lands on I. Use the, oh, how did I find Q? Oh, so that was O to P to Q. That one right there is your bust arc. So you need your measurement number 9. And you're going to measure from O to P, and then the remainder of what's left that you haven't used lands on J. So mine was 9 inches, and so I just put my ruler at 9 inches. This is a 9-inch length right here. I put my 9 on that O, and then I got to P, and I pivot my ruler till the end touches this line here, the J line. So it's kind of like a broken straight line. Okay, so you go from O to P, and then P to Q is your measurement number 9. Hi, Brown Sugar. How's it going? Okay, cool. And then you measure from P to Q, add a little bit for the bust cup size, and put that measurement from P to on the I guideline. So for P to Q, this measurement here goes here. And you find your R. All right, and now you need to draw a line from R through Q. Just draw a straight line from R through Q. And then measure from R on this line down what your measurement number 10 is, which is your side seam. Okay? We Gucci? All right, so now we're on number 4. We're almost done with this page here, kind of. All right, so from R down, you're going to draw a 1/2 inch. And we're going to label this T. 1/2 inch, R to T. Okay? All right, you're gonna need your measurement number 11. Okay, so you're gonna square a line from B, straight right here. And I'm just gonna draw a line like that. And you're going to use your measurement number 11, which was the dart placement. And you're going to draw that right here, draw in the point. I think this one is, where are we at? U, right? Yeah, U. Okay, so. This is, I'm gonna put the U on this side of the line because we're about to draw something really close onto the left side of the line. So this is U, right? And this is your measurement number 11 right here. And now you're going to square down from U just a little tiny bit, 3/16 of an inch. Okay, which is what I like to call an 1/8 and a half. And I'm going to use my pencil so I can get it there really close there. So right there, and that's V. Doesn't help that V and U look so similar, does it? Yeah, brown sugar, I would recommend that. Coming in the middle, it probably just looks like a, looks like, I don't know, I'm designing something. Yeah, right, Beverly? We're almost there. We're almost done, you guys. Okay? And then we're going to do the magic of putting it on the dress form and see how it is. That'll be the fun part for all of you who are like, I don't know what the heck is going on. Okay, so you have your V, which is 3/16 of an inch away from U, okay? All right, and you can draw a little bit of a, like, just a dashed line between S and V. Something like that. Okay. All right, so last up on this page here. So this is your dart formation. So you need your measurement number 12. But can we have A1, A2? No, Rachel, stop it. Oh, wow, Terry. Well, how did that sloper turn out? Did it turn out good, though? Theirs could have been more sophisticated method. They went through the alphabet twice. So that's the thing. Draping is so much easier. Okay. All right. So you need your measurement number 12. And that measurement is going to be from B to U and S to W. Okay. Now, now you're going to have to do a little bit of math. So figure out what your measurement number 12 is. Measure this right here. Right? So that was your, what was that measurement? 11. Yeah. All right. And then subtract that from your, where's my phone? Here we go. So take your measurement number 12. Basically, it's measurement number 12 minus measurement number 11, all right? I know what mine is, but I'm going to double check it because I can't do math. I can't do performance math. This is the only kind of performance math I can do. So, all right, so you have this right here, and now the remainder goes right here from S on this line toward B. I have these huge weights right here. That's why I keep adjusting my ruler. All right, and then this is going to be W. Okay. All right, last set of instructions. The bust was way off. Yeah, it's so easy to get one off. I mean, you saw that. I accidentally started measuring for my C, not my E. You guys probably all did it correctly and I didn't. So, all right, so our last few steps. Okay, you're gonna draw a line from V, this lower one, to P, okay? Just draw a line. This is one dart leg. And now you're going to measure that length right there from V to P. So here to here, get your measurement there. And now that same measurement you're going to draw going through W. You might go past W. Mine almost hits W perfectly. So you could just draw a line straight from P through W and then put your measurement of P to V on here, okay? So mine goes just a little bit past. It doesn't really though. It's like right here. And so that's X, all right? My X and W are very similar. All right, so now we're gonna add a little bit of ease in there. I know I've told you that we don't really add the ease that we need to wear the garment with, but we're gonna add a little bit because you need this kind of starting ease anyway. Plus, even just getting this on the dress form is going to be snug, you know? So you need this little bit of ease, okay? Because if you were to try this on at home, and I'm gonna give you tips on how to do that because we don't have seam allowance on this. We don't have any of that. So I'll give you tips on that in a little bit. All right. I'll show you how we used to do it. All right. So if you've got the printout, we're on part 4, number 2. So you're going to square out from T about a 1/2 inch that way. Okay. So I'm just going to draw a 1/2 inch line here, right there. And that is now going to be Y. So I'm just going to move T right there, and we're going to turn this T into a Y, all right? So this point right here, this is 1/2 inch away. Wait. Did I just do that wrong? Yeah, that's right. So this was my T, right? You guys? Now I can't tell because I can't see it. This was my T, and then this is my Y right here. Right? That's what it was, right, guys? Oh, I hope so, Terry. This one isn't done yet. I'm really confident you can do it, especially if you can cut it in muslin and fit it, and I'm going to give you some tips on fitting. You're going to watch me do it. I'm going to put it on the dress form, and you're going to see what you do. If one thing is happening here, one thing's happening there. The dress form is really the key to kind of being able to demonstrate that. All right, so we have this 1/2 inch here. Okay, this is our little bit of ease that we're adding in. And label that as wide. If you're in the upper, like curvier size ranges, you might add another 1/4 inch and make that 3/4 of an inch T to Y. Wait, T was higher, just rewound. What do you mean? T was this one, right? And then this one, this was T, right? Yeah. I'll just look back. Yeah, that was my T, and then I just added a 1/2 inch. This is my that's my Y right there. This is Y. I know that to be true, just like I just know that. I don't know why it looks weird. Where I put the T was kind of confusing. Yeah. Yeah. Pausing and being able to rewind if you guys are watching this, you know, on the replay is so much better. Okay. Because then you can hide chat too. And not look at it. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. So now we're on number 3. So now you're going to draw your new side seam. I'm going to use a different color ink now. And I'm going to draw Y to S right here. Okay. That's my side seam here. And then you're going to make this little 1/2 inch line that you drew a 4-inch guideline going into the bodice, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a parallel line to this one so that I know that I'm getting it kind of in the right spot. Okay, you just need a guideline right here, all right? It's getting a little messy, I know, don't worry. We're almost there, okay? Hang on. Focus in on just what we're doing here, all right? So we just drew this new side seam from Y to S. We just drew a guideline on this little 1/2 inch mark straight through, right? So it's parallel to R to I. Okay. Try not to get ink on my clothes today. All right, so now you're going to draw in your armhole. So I would use a different color ink. My French curve's really handy for this. This is literally, I feel like this is what these were designed for. Mine is very manky looking. I know, it's gross. Like the stickers I used to have on it that told everybody it was mine are all, like all you see is the stuff. It's been broken and taped together. So you're gonna draw your armhole and it's gonna be E, this little 1/2 inch here, the M, right here, and you want to land on this line. You don't have to go to this point, because remember how I'm always talking about you want right angles here? You're going to have to clean that up anyway. All right, so we're going to focus on this point, E, M, and somewhere on this guideline here, okay? All right. It's a wee armhole. Hi, Ikeo. How's it going? Hi, Samia. How's it going? Welcome. This might look like a little bit of a mess if you're coming in now because it's a little bit of geometry going on. We're almost done, and then we're going to do the magical part. Hopefully it's magical. Okay. All right, you definitely don't want this line to go dip below this one, okay? So your armhole curve cannot dip below this line, all right? All right, so now you're gonna draw in your waistline. So if you need, like if your waistline has enough length and you need to use like a hip curve, I would recommend that. So remember that your dart legs are the, it's P to V, right? Yep, P to V, and P to X are your dart legs. So, but I feel like I really want a right angle here, but I know that it does pull in a little bit. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a curve here. So this is all gonna get trued up. It does not have to be perfect, okay? So you're gonna get your waistline, because we don't even have our shape right here for the dart. And we are done with the rough draft. Okay, so just draw on your waist here. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna trace it on other paper and I'm gonna drape it on the dress form and see how the heck I did. I'm gonna leave this a little bit extra here. Now, I already don't like this right here a little bit. It's a little bit of a point, but I actually think what I'll be able to do is back this point off of the neckline a little bit. Oops. Okay, let's get rid of all this. I had these little washi tape pieces on my table yesterday so I wouldn't move my paper outside the square. My little guideline. I'm gonna cut this in fabric. It'll be better. Let me go get some real quick. I can't really believe what I have up here on my table here. It's like, I don't know why I didn't clean it off a little bit. Okay, so, iron your fabric. So I'm going to trace this on here. And I'm going to add a little bit of seam allowance just so it's a little easier to manipulate on the fabric, or on the dress form, sorry. I'm going to draw my dress form, my pattern directly on here first though. And I'm going to actually add some notches so that I can see where my dart leg is. Oops. And my center front. Okay. Oh, and I need a hole for my bust. All right. Now I'm choking. Okay. Let's draw that again. I'm excited. I'm so glad you guys are interested in pattern drafting. It's definitely my favorite thing. Okay, so I just marked my darts on there and then my center front, and I'm going to draw it directly on there. This is my version of muslin right now. Let's just draw the dart right on there. And then let's add, we'll just add a 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? This will also give us something to play with just in case we need to fill in any bits. So when you get to the stage, I would recommend waiting until you have your back to do this. So once you have your back, so you don't have to do this now. You don't have to do it by Saturday. You really don't have to do this for a bit, okay? I would do this. Add the seam allowance. I'm only going to add a 1/4 inch seam allowance to the neck like this, okay? And when I cut it out, I don't have scissors. Let's see. I don't think that these are, this will be okay. Oh my gosh, I haven't cut with fabric with scissors in so long. All right, so when you go to do your trial fitting, sorry, I don't cut fabric very well with scissors anymore. I'm really good with paper though. Add the little seam allowance and then add like an inch extension at your center front, okay? And when you go to try yours on, you're gonna just sew it together, and all you're gonna do is sew the shoulders and the side seam. You'll put the back on the fold, you're gonna sew the shoulders and the side seams together, and the dart, and that's it. And then you're gonna try it on, and you're definitely gonna have this line drawn on there. Don't tell me you didn't do that, because you need to like meet it, pin it on you, make sure the center fronts meet. Yeah. And that way you know that you have it accurate and you have the whole amount, but you need that opening to get it on and off as well. All right, so I won't need these seam allowances unless I need to fill in this fabric. So I'm not quite truing my garment yet. There's ways to true it without trying it on, but honestly, it'll be kind of a waste of time because you're gonna need to try it on anyway, all right? So I'm gonna just clip into my armhole right now. You're gonna need to do this too. Because remember, this line is right up against your armhole, right? This fabric looks kind of crazy on the screen, but look, see, it's like little, well, they're little flowers, but for the longest time, like for way too long, me and Rayanne thought they were little apples. So we were cutting the fabric upside down for the longest time. What I would also recommend is when you go to make yours and you cut 2 fronts, 1 back on the fold, iron the center front, one side of it, because the other one's going to go underneath it, okay? I'm gonna pin my dart right now. Now I should have left some extra fabric there. Your dart goes from front to side. And this would be great to sew right now, but we don't need to. I do have pins. I'm gonna pin along the fold, which isn't normally how I would if I were sewing it, because I just want it to be as flat as possible right now. It looks pretty good, huh? All right, let me change the screen. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that's right, I flip-flopped these. There we go. All right, let me bring the dress form over. Come here, Stella. Okay, here's our little girl. We still have all of our tape on there from yesterday. And when you get to try it on, you know, you don't get the benefit of pinning it. So what I would do is start from the shoulder. So I'll fold back the shoulder so we can see how well it's lining up. Start with the shoulder if you get to do it, you know, like this on a dress form. But when you do it, you're just going to try it on and see where all these things land. See, look at this is already kind of too far away. But if the center front isn't lining up, and it is, I was going to say I could actually take it off there. So let me just get this all pinned on here. And you want to be letting it relax. Like, you don't really want to be pinning and pulling and contriving it. All right, so remember now that we added the ease, so there it is, right? So it's going to stick out like that. It looks like a little too much, in my opinion. So let's get rid of these. They're kind of in my way now. Let's put this point right here. So if this was sewn together to the back, this would be hanging away from the body, and that's good. You want that, all right? Right. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good here. Funnily, here is my apex on the dress form, and here is the apex on the pattern. So this could get moved over a little bit if I want. So like I said, we've added the ease, right? So you can see right here, here's some ease. It looks like a little more than what we added. So if it were sewn to the back, it'd be hanging out like this. You know? I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit. No, not that one. That better? Breathing ease. That's right. Brown sugar. I don't know that pattern. The next pair of jeans I'm making, well, I know I'm making the Saffron by Deer and Doe. Let me write that down though. It's like water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink, right? Oh, this is not a writing pen. Where is it? B. I always say 5 when I say the letter B. B5682. I'll check it out. All right, so this isn't too bad. You can see my line here. I was a little crooked when I drew this line here. This lines up really well right here. I kind of want to see this bust. So here is the bust on the dress form. So let's see again. where that sits. Oh, I'm wrong. I was feeling another lump here, right here. So here is the apex on the dress form. It's right here. So it's almost spot on. It can be, it could be moved around a little bit. All right, so here's some of the things I see that I would like to do. Now this is fine. It just looks like a little more than what I want because I'm getting a little bit of too much fullness in the armhole right here, right? I'm trying to make it so you can see. So, because I feel like that 1/2 inch, it's more than a 1/2 inch. See that? It's more like an inch. And it may be because she's not even an A cup and we added that little bit of ease as well. That's an inch right there. So I feel like I would take off a 1/2 inch here. And I think I also would like to true up my armhole a little bit. So if I took out a 1/2 there, it would be more like that. But it wouldn't be sticking out like that because it would be sewn to the back, right? It would be more like this. There's still a little bit of an angle there happening. Now maybe we could swing some of this fullness into the dart right there. You know what I'm talking about? So you know how when you get this little like pooch right there, you can pivot this into the dart and make the dart waist dart bigger. You know? But like right here, I definitely want to bring in my armhole right here like this. I feel like this could go up a little bit. Like that. And it's just something you can feel because this is already hanging off of the shoulder right there. See that? Oh my gosh, what is my mouse doing? So when you draw on this amount right here, what you're going to do is you're going to take it off the pattern, right? This seam allowance isn't on the pattern yet, so you don't have to worry about it. All you're doing is any lines you're making on the inside of your black line is what you need to remove off the pattern. All right. Now the neckline looks pretty good. I did pretty good. So there it is. There's the juncture right there. So the seam allowance is going up towards the neck. That's fine. And you can see that this line here is away. Here's the juncture of the neck on the dress form. But like when you're wearing this, it feels different, right? So you definitely, we do not have these little seams here on our body. So we need more space right here. I don't know about you, but I can't stand it when garments touch me right there. So, okay, so all in all, I think this looks pretty good. You know, we're gonna make our dart back off of the apex eventually. This looks good here. This right here is the only thing I'm like, all right, I think what I'm gonna do is pin a little bit of this out. And pivot it into the waist. And then if this were sewn to the back, maybe I don't want to. Let's see, I think that was a little too aggressive. Let's take out a little less. That actually, getting rid of a little bit right there helped this spot a lot more. I think I would leave this now. I might move it a tiny bit, but I don't think I need to. One thing I might want to consider is maybe backing this off like there. A little bit of a 1/4 inch. All right, do you guys have any questions? I know that once you guys get to do this yourself, it'll be a lot more understandable. Thanks, Terry. Why do you say that? How do you know? I don't know. So let's see. Let's make these changes to my block here. So let's just measure on my dress form here. No, I'm going to get rid of that dart, Beverly. You know, the thing is, like, it's always really hard to tell that spot when you don't have an actual arm in there. So, I think, like when I do this dart, Beverly, I don't know if you can see it anymore, but it definitely snugs this up a little bit. And that could be good or bad, you know? So I think, like, I'm going to explore pivoting this amount out into the waist dart. And the way I can do that, I'm going to show you how to do that. But let's just true up a little bit of this stuff here. So this is like a fat 1/4 inch. That's like a 1/4 inch. But this, I'm only tapering this for like 1 1/4 inches, right? So what color should we do now? Let's do red. Okay, so this one is, and I actually like the idea of this one the most because this neckline was kind of a weird, you know, it was kind of weird, right? Let's do a 1/4 inch here, right there. And that goes to about the midline there, so it's more like this. Right? And then when we get down here, this looks pretty darn good. I'm actually a little pleased as well. Yeah, I love that method too, Rachel. All right, so let's see how much we're going to do now. Manipulating darts is actually really easy and fun, so. I'm very serious today. I probably don't sound like I'm fun. Okay, so let's see how much this is right here. Sometimes it's good, instead of pinning it the way I did just like this on the form, it's better to pinch it like this on the form, you know? So you can see what you're removing. It's kind of like trying on your clothes inside out when you're fitting them. So this amount right here, it's about 1/2 inch, and it's happening at about, remember I'm lining this up to the black line. So it's happening at about right here is where the fold is pinched here at the base, right? So the amount is on either side of this amount that I'm pinching. So it's like, it's about that much, all right? And this is all you do is I'm actually gonna slash, I'm gonna cut along the bottom part of it. I have a hole there, so that's why it's going to do that. So I'm going to close this up, and it's going to make my dart bigger down here now. So all I did was take that little 1/2 inch, which is right here. I see my red marker is ruined. It's this amount right here. Okay. The only thing I got to watch is that this little angle on this little bit I'm pinching out is more like this, not like this. So I just want to make sure, you know. Yeah, so then you just pivot that out. So I made my cut on the bottom of this 1/2 inch so that I could close it up like that. And then it opened up. Sorry, I'm really zoomed in, aren't I? So here's my dart, my bodice, I mean. I slit on this side because this side's gonna get bigger. It's gonna go that way. You don't wanna move this leg, by the way. You do not wanna move this leg. This leg is movable, this leg is not. This distance between your center front and your dart is, you're gonna wanna keep that the same, okay? So we're just gonna get rid of that little bit and go blip. There we go. So now we have a bigger waist dart. Okay. I still don't have my dart shape down here, but that's okay. Let's trim this up. Funnily, I actually do draft almost all my patterns directly onto manila paper. I just really like it. It is more expensive, I admit that, and there's a few things I do that I know are more expensive for anything in my life. But most of the time I just try and do what I have, like use what I have with me, you know. I've been drafting patterns and using patterns for so long that I just love tracing around manila in the end. It's so nice, right? You can just trace right onto your fabric on manila, and that's what's great about it. So let's mark here's our center front and our dart leg, our apex. All right, should we cut one more out? It's only 12:30. This went pretty quick. So let's cut one more out. See if I have enough fabric right here. I mean, you can just use scrap fabric, but I do recommend trying to find something that you can cut on the grain. This one has a really cute selvage, doesn't it? It's so cute. This fabric, this lining, I have a few bolts of it left, unfortunately. Because it paired with something else, and that was when my production started falling apart, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna pare down what we cut out, and we're just gonna cut in batches, and it was a really smart thing to do, because at least I left my raw materials as raw materials, you know. And this little print went with the you guys remember my tamarack jacket with the bird lining? It went with that. So it actually went with a really fantastic fabric for being so subdued. And that was very, very typical what I'd do. I would do a fabric that was very mundane for the lining because maybe the other fabric I went with was pretty showy. All right, I have my center front, I have my dart, I have my apex, I have my dart. Okay, just making sure I got everything before I get rid of that. Alright, so we're going to do this. We're going to give ourselves the 1 inch because I am trained to do that still. We'll give ourselves the 1/4 inch here. I really short shrifted myself right there, didn't I? Alright, we'll give ourselves a 1/2 inch here. And we'll true up our paper pattern when we have our back done. And then, because we need the back to kind of true up the front, especially the these junctures where the shoulder and the waist. I really recommend always having some fabric you don't mind getting rid of. I know that it's really nice to make wearable muslins and you're like, oh, this turned out so cute. I can still wear it even though it wasn't supposed to be my actual garment. But you are kind of putting a lot of pressure on yourself to still make sure that it works out, even if you're telling yourself you're not, because you're kind of in the back of your head always going, but if it worked, I could still wear this, right? Oh yeah, Beverly, I love the waist dart. I don't like the bust dart very much, and I don't know why, but I like things. I need the tapering here, not up there, you know. Let me get my rotary knife because I'm a wimp. Let's see, I think this one's sharp. What was I ranting about? Oh, I don't remember what I was ranting about, but oh well. Maybe you're glad I forgot. I don't know why I'm pressing so hard. Let's give myself a little bit of fabric here. Oh, the wearable stuff. Yes, thank you, Beverly. So, you guys, if you're in the States, you know, and you're near one of those Joann fabrics, and you have one of those nice little 40% off coupons, I want you to use that 40% off coupon to buy a bolt of muslin. I want you to do that. I want you to look at that wall of all those bolts of muslin that are still in their packaging. And I want you to use your 40% off coupon on maybe that one that's only $1 a yard to begin with, or $2 a yard. Okay? Because then you will feel fully free to be really creative, and you've spent less than $1 per yard on the fabric, which is going to pay off so much because you can buy that nicer fabric for something else someday and not feel so scared about cutting into it because you made a wearable muslin in something that cost you $3 total. All right? That's my only, I don't ever command you guys to do things. Oh yeah, so there you go. Calico, muslin, or any fabric. You can pick any fabric, but I do recommend trying to find something that you don't like very much and isn't very distracting. Like this one is borderline. I kind of like that it has something on it for reference, but you know, it's pretty bland. There you go, Malin. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's you could sew this up if you like, but you know, in the pattern room, you don't always have a machine. I always had a machine. That was one of my stipulations. I actually did work somewhere as the senior pattern drafter, and I had like this crew of junior developers that worked with me, but not under me, which was kind of weird. And they did all the spec sheets and all the stuff. I gave them the information, and they made them pretty for the factories. I think there were 3 or 4 of them in there with me. I did all of the pattern drafting for this company. So I was doing like probably 150 patterns every 3 months. Like it was a lot. And there was no machine in my room. And there was sample makers there, but they weren't my machines. So it was kind of hard for me. I'm very hands-on, and not a lot of pattern drafters are. All right, so we have our little dart here, and the only reason I left that there is you want to get this nice and flat, and now I can go like this. But see, this little point right here, go away. See how this is at a point? You don't want that. You want this to blend in nicely. You'll want a smoother curve, but we're still just trying to figure out if we really like this or not. So I'm not a big fan of the full screen because you see me. It's like the least flattering, man. All right. All right, so let's see, start with the waist, because this one we didn't add to. That looks higher now, doesn't it? Doesn't that look higher? What the heck? It's just, you know, human error. I probably am pinning it different this time. That armhole looks a lot better, don't you think? Hi, Carol. Yes, we're drafting our own basic block. You guys, that's pretty money right there. Except for the wrinkle. Look at that. Hubba hubba right there. That looks good. Very good. I'm happy. Let's really get a good look at it. So if you are doing this on someone else, you can do this. This is how you drape. you just trim right on the dress form. So it'll be nice when we have our back, you know? Ooh, this is like, you guys don't know how much I miss pattern drafting, right? Yeah, no, a 1/2 inch makes a big difference. I mean, it's a good lesson, right? And little bits add up. You know, it's that whole thing of like, okay, there's only like a couple instances where you're like, I'm just gonna add a little more and it'll be okay. And that's things like ice cream and peanut M&Ms. But when you're talking about measurements, just do the measurement. Yeah, right? Isn't she cute? So I don't have this pinned up here. It's just hanging away. So when we have our back and it's pinned on here, so the things we'll do to this are, and we might not on our sloper. I'm gonna decide how we're gonna do that. But awesome, Terry. Yes, we all need dress forms. Totally. That's what I would love to get that kind of sponsorship. You know. That's right, Carol. Dude, I need to stay up on some of that stuff. Look at how red I am. It's because I'm eating ice cream at night. Yeah, so here we go. That's our front. And then we'll add our back to it on Saturday. The back's a little easier to draft. But there's a waist start. And Beverly, if you think a waist start on the front is magic, a waist start on the back is so great. I mean, this right here, I mean, look at we all have this, you know, this little scoop. 2 thumbs up from me. I'm excited. If you guys start having some of your own blocks, I'll feel a lot more free to draft patterns with you guys. And I mean, you guys, if you guys have a fitted block, like a block that fits you, you could literally send me a sketch and say, what about this? And we could just draft it. And drafting is fast. Oh, Terry. That's awesome. Thanks. So, you know, you could, like, drafting is really quick, you guys. It's not a time-consuming thing to do. The reason it seems like it is because we're used to hearing that conversation from pattern companies that say how difficult it is to come up with another block or another size chart or a whole nother size range. And it's true. It is. But you're not doing that. You're fitting one person, and that one person is 100% available to you 24/7, right? And that's you. So drafting your own, like if you get this right, you can say, hey, Sarah, how do you do a convertible collar? How do you do this sleeve, this sleeve, this sleeve, this cuff? How do you do this? How do you add seam allowance here? How do you do this kind of manipulation, you know? It's, and then maybe we can graduate to doing pants. What do you think about that? Because we can do pants the exact same way we did the bodice. I've done that before. And it's worked pretty good. All right, you guys. So I'm hoping that was proof enough that you can do this. I know doing it on a dress form seems a lot easier, but the thing is when you have your back, you're going to cut your back on the fold. You're going to add your seam allowance. You're going to sew it. 5 minutes of sewing. Tingling with excitement at that, right? Yeah, and then you're going to try it on. And remember, there's that big difference between what we want to look like when we look in the mirror and what actually fits us well, okay? Yeah. So I really want you to be nice to yourselves, okay? I want you to be really kind to yourself when you're looking at it and be like, okay, this fits me. okay, I don't really like my arms doing that thing right there, that little bit of fat or that, you know, wiggliness, or I don't really like seeing my neck. You're not going to do that. You're not going to wear this. You're going to draft patterns that look so amazing on it. You're going to feel like eating more M&Ms and ice cream. Okay? So, I'm just kidding. But still, you know, I really feel, yes, we will feel, you'll feel better and it won't matter. You'll just feel so good because you won't be like this all day, right? So, I mean, even this, like this Archer, I'm wearing it over a shirt. It's, you know, I could fit it a little better, you know, but my jeans are 100%. My t-shirt this one I drafted myself. And every time I want to put my these little t-shirts on, I'm always like, oh, it's going to like right up above my belly. And then I remember, no, I drafted that myself. It doesn't do that. So, you know, it's like so great because we all have our own fit little things, you know, so. All right, you guys, I know you can do this. So if you want the printout of what I did today, it's on Patreon. You can be a subscriber for as little as $5 a month. You can end it after a month. So I'm going to revise this. Doesn't matter if you subscribed 2 months ago or 2 months from now. They'll both be up there. You can access all the content. It'll be easy. So I'm going to, now that we've used this, I'm going to kind of revise this a little bit and give you spots to write in your measurement. And I think I'm going to break down the steps a little bit, like each line, so it's really clear. Because I really want you guys to succeed. Like I really, really, really want you guys to succeed on this because I love doing pattern drafting so much. I literally never used home sew patterns until I started the stream. There were a few. I would use a few, but mostly I just drafted it myself. So you guys are beasts. I love it. All right. So Saturday we're going to draft the basic block. You are absolutely welcome. I'm just so glad you guys are down for this. Okay, yeah, Louise. You might have gotten an email with an update. So check your spam folder or whatever the email address that is that you use for that. Log into that email and see if you got an email that said, you know, what I posted on there. All right. But if you're not going to do the Patreon thing, you still need to do your measurements if you haven't done that. And that is just on my website. So here, I'll put a link to that in the comments right now. I don't think anyone's on Twitch. I'm going to put it in Twitch. And then there's a couple people there. Hi, Twitch. And then here you go. This is a link to this project on my website where all the projects are. And in the text of the description of this, there's a little document called My Measurements. And then you can download that and it'll get you to these pages here. I don't have a camera on. So it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a front and a back. This is the front, and then you'll fill out the back. So you could fill out your back, do your front and back, and do your catch up with us by Saturday. So, and then you have time, you guys. You're gonna do this. I'm so glad, Nancy. Yeah, chip away at this, and then like mid-December, we're gonna all check in with each other and say, all right, so you have till mid-December to do this part. Get here with both your front and your back. A little bit trued, best you can. We're going to talk about it some more. And if we don't have a whole lot of stuff we need to troubleshoot, we're going to go into the sleeve. And then we are going to be golden when we have our sleeve and our bodice. And the sleeve drafting is actually pretty easy. It's just getting one that fits you really well. So, yay. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, good luck. Yeah, we're here on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to do the back. And we're going to do it the same way. Awesome, Nancy. Yeah, and just note that on the front measurement, your cross shoulder, the number 2 measurement, you just need half of that, but I'll update that file on the website. You just need half of that, but that's okay. If you're watching the video, you're going to get that. That's fine. So you guys are awesome. I'm so glad you're into this. Yay. And thank you. Thanks for coming. So we'll see you Saturday. And then next week, we're going to be sewing a couple of kids' clothes things, and we're going to be doing the Caroline pajama top that I drafted. Yes, Malin, you got this. Yeah, and try and look in a mirror so you can see how she's doing it, and have her measure some of them a few times so that you get the same measurement, all right, Malin? You're welcome, you guys. Absolutely. Yeah. It won't take you as long as it did me because I'm chatting with you and trying to let you follow along. But I really believe in all of you. I really believe you guys can do this if you just don't get bogged down in the measurements and you take the time, be consistent. This is how it's done, right? It's been done like this for, you know, thousands of years. We've been making our clothes, so this isn't new. It's just new to us. So, all right, you guys. I'll see you Saturday, and wish me luck. I gotta fix a prom dress type thing for my daughter by today. Send M&Ms. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Where's my thingy? Okay. Bye, guys.